Well, welcome back to the channel. As always, I have a lot of things to get done, but first I'm going to head over to a neighbor's house. They cleared an area where they're going to build a pole barn. So they cut down some pretty nice oak trees, and it's firewood that I can use. I don't have to cut it down. They've already cut it into pieces, and I'm going to just grab what I can and bring that back here and throw it into my pile. And then I've got some other things to do. I unpacked the Light brush mulcher. I need to cut the drive shaft on that. I don't know if I'll get that done today, but you know, there's always just so many things to do. So, you know, sometimes I hesitate to say out loud what I plan to do today, because a lot of times a number of those things don't get done. I feel like I should pick one or two things and say that's it for today. So for sure, I'm heading over now to pick up that firewood, and then we'll see what else I can get done before the excessive heat comes back. Excuse me, Irma. You gotta stay here, okay? But I'll be back. Look how big she's gotten. The first sunflower head started popping out a couple days ago, and of course the wildflowers are magical. We'll take a look at those maybe a little later on. Definitely a job for the log ox. I have got to get better at estimating. I am not good at that. I left the house this morning and thought, I'll just be here for an hour. I forgot to bring any water with me, and I've been out here over an hour already, and it didn't seem that hot when I started, and I had lots of energy, and I could feel myself just declining. So that's one thing. Even when I mowed that field yesterday, I underestimated how long it would take. So I had to remember that, especially if I'm charging people for jobs. Like, this is not, I'm not charging anybody for this, but you know, if I do some tractor work and charge people, I have to be realistic about how much time something's going to take. So I'm going to work on that. So I know this is oak. I don't know what kind, whether it's white oak or red oak. It's got the smooth bark, the very identifiable grain, but I don't know what this is. It has a real rough bark. Is that walnut maybe? Or some kind of ash? I'm not sure. It looks nice, but I'll take it because there aren't that many pieces, but I'm not sure what that is. Maybe my phone can identify it, or maybe you can identify it. You know, a lot of you guys who do firewood all the time, you'll know right away what that is. So I'm really going for the oak here today. There's a lot of other stuff laying around, but I'm going for the oak that's, you know, at least 6-8 inches round. Some of it, as you saw, is really big, but there's a lot more here than I expected. But what a nice job this homeowner did. He cut all these trees down by himself. He kind of stacked them according to size. You've got these. These are probably 5. There's some nice ones down there that could be split, and then the smaller ones up here, and then he stacked up the real small ones over there. So really nice job, a lot of labor. And he's got somebody coming in tomorrow to start pulling these stumps out. They're going to build a pole barn back here. These are much more manageable, but unfortunately, I mean, they're obviously too long for my stove, but I don't know how long they are, probably about 28 to 30 inches. So when I cut it in half, they're going to be very small pieces. I like mine to be at least 16, no more than 18, because that's the max the stove will take. I try to do everything 16, but I feel like if I cut a 16 here, I'm going to have like an 8 left over, whatever that math is. Anyway, I'll get what I can out of it. I'm sure that even if I end up cutting 2 14s or 2 15s, however long that is, it's still going to be okay. Okay, maybe I'll come back another time, but right now I've got a pretty full trailer load, and I am beat. I have to say, that log ox, even though it's still a lot of work to load anything by hand, that log ox definitely saves your back. I wouldn't have been able to do this bending over with all that struggling. It really puts the center of gravity up near your waist, and again, I mean, heavy is heavy, but it does definitely relieve stress in your back. All right, I'm gonna get this home. I doubt I'll even unload it, but let's at least get it home. Well, thank goodness for that 5-minute air-conditioned ride home. So I parked here in front of the cement pad. I'm thinking that I'll just unload the logs onto the pad and then I can split it here, just because it's a lot cleaner to work with. I think I really need a dump trailer at this point. Anyway, let's see what other trouble we can get into today. Hey Irma, I'm home. She really hates not coming in the house. Boy, it's amazing what taking just a little break can do for you. Just sitting down in the air conditioning, getting a drink of water, bite to eat, and just, I feel totally refreshed now. I was really beat after loading all that firewood, but now I feel pretty good. I wanted to show you the wildflowers. A lot of people have been asking how they're doing, and they look spectacular. I planted them along both sides of the driveway, and they just came up so thick and beautiful. And in the past, I thought I overseeded, so this time I used the sand to kind of dilute the seeds, and it was the 8-to-1 ratio of sand to seed, and they are still thick and just amazing. So I've got the front of the driveway, or along the front of the driveway are the wildflowers, and behind that I've got the sunflowers, the Henry Wild variety, And just a couple days ago, some of the heads started popping out, so they look great. Some of the stalks are like 6-7 feet tall. So I'm excited that probably in the next week we're going to get a whole row of sunflowers. But the wildflowers are better than I expected. I mean, I kind of envisioned how nice it would be, but they are, again, just spectacular. The bees, the butterflies. I saw some goldfinches earlier today flying around, and it's just a thing of beauty. We have no municipal trash collection in our town, so we have to go to some people call it a transfer station, we call it a convenience center, and basically take our trash to a central location, and then it's hauled to the county landfill from there. A lot of people like the routine of going to what we call the dump. Back years ago when I was a kid, I would ride to the dump with my grandfather, and back then it really was a dump. It was just a hole in the ground. He'd back the pickup truck up to the hole and just throw stuff in the hole. So now things have come a long way, or they've improved a bit, because we take the trash to the transfer station, we recycle. What goes into the landfill now is household trash, debris, and there's a liner in the landfill, a big thick liner, and none of the liquid leaches into the ground. They have pumps and they take it out and they send it to a treatment plant. So I think we're trying to keep things cleaner. Of course, the old dump is still in town. It's buried, so who knows what's under there and what's leaching into the ground from, you know, the 1960s and 70s and beyond that. So, but I guess going forward, we're a little more responsible than we used to be. You know, we used to not get so many orders in the mail, so when you got a good box, you would hold on to it, and I still have those little struggles. Like, it hurts my heart sometimes to throw away a good box, but I tell myself there'll be more boxes. There'll be more boxes. One thing we like about the dump is that there a lot of times are things you can bring home with you. And sometimes we come home with, well, not more than we came with, but sometimes we bring things home. And there is an open-ended return policy. We get things, and if we don't like it, we bring it back. So I'm actually going to get to the project that I talked about first thing this morning. And this is the Baumolite brush mulcher, the MP348. It's 48 inches wide. This thing is a heavy piece of equipment. It weighs 1,000 pounds. So it's a lot on this little tractor. I'm hoping it handles it okay. So I just got this in, and the drive shaft is too long, so I need to cut it down. It's a little stressful to take a brand new piece of equipment and have to cut something on it. But I followed the instructions, and hopefully I'll do okay. 41 inches there. Okay. You know, the math is not so tricky on these. It's just a little nerve-wracking to make sure you did it right. This shaft fully closed is 57 inches from connection point to connection point, and the PTO to the connection point there is 41 inches. That's a difference of 16 inches. And then they tell you to add an inch. So I need to take 17 inches off each end, which seems like a lot, but this is a really long shaft. So 17 plus a little more so I can have the plastic cut back some. I'm gonna go for it. I checked my numbers a couple times. Fingers crossed. This slip clutch is so heavy. That's frightening. In a good way. Let me show you the business end of this machine before it gets all dirty. But there are 120 of these carbide cutters, and they're about 5/8, 3/4 of an inch discs, and they're concave shape, and you can rotate them 3 times. So you can get, I guess, a good amount of life out of these. The directions say that a sharp cutter will chip easier than one that's slightly dulled, so there's a break-in period involved with this to kind of, I guess, take the hard edges off. But essentially, there you have all these cutters, and there's a skid on the bottom, and the cutters, looks like they're about a 1/2 inch, maybe an inch from the ground. So if you were to set this completely down, the cutters are not going to be hitting the ground. And of course, the ground's not always flat, so it will be hitting dirt mounds and things like that. But essentially, they're placed just above this. There's no adjustment on the skids, and it's made to be used in reverse. So you saw the way that thing was spinning. It's going to just mulch things up. I'm excited. So I'm going to put this thing to use in future videos, so make sure you come back to see that. But this was a pretty productive day. Got a few things done. Not bad for a Sunday afternoon. Anyway, I appreciate you being here with me. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. And if you've not yet subscribed to the channel and you like this type of content, why don't you join us? Thanks for being here, and as always, I look forward to seeing you next time.